Laughter echoed through the sun-drenched space, where the marble floor of the Mercedes-Benz downtown showroom gleamed as if freshly polished, reflecting tailored suits and glossy Italian leather shoes. A couple debated color options for a new GLE, steam curling from a hot espresso resting on the reception counter, while staff chatted easily beneath a crystal chandelier. The sliding glass doors whispered open. Then, the atmosphere shifted. Omar Bailey stepped in, neither hurried nor hesitant. He wore a navy polo, its collar faded from years of washing, plain jeans, and scuffed New Balance sneakers like a man who had detoured from a roadside gas station. Bradley Sterling, the showroom manager in a pristine Armani suit, a Rolex catching the light on his wrist, looked up from the reception desk, his polite smile faltering for the briefest instant. And when Bradley's eyes scanned Omar from head to toe, the showroom ceased to be a place of display. It became a stage where silence said more than words ever could. Vanessa Chen, a young sales associate whose modest and tailored dress and genuine smile speak to her earnest professionalism, starts toward Omar with a leather portfolio tucked under her arm, but Bradley cuts her off with a raised hand adorned with a gold pinky ring. "I'll handle this one," he says, his tone carrying an edge sharp enough to cut glass, the kind of voice that's ended careers and crushed dreams. Vanessa's smile falters as she steps back, her eyes flickering between Bradley and the approaching customer, with poorly concealed concern. Bradley's leather shoes. Italian, hand-stitched, probably worth more than Omar's entire outfit, click against the marble floor as he approaches with the predatory grace of a shark sensing blood in the water. His laugh, when it comes, echoes off the showroom's cathedral-high ceilings like breaking glass, a sound completely devoid of warmth or humor. His pale blue eyes, cold as a winter morning, travel from Omar's scuffed New Balance sneakers to his close-cropped hair, cataloging every detail that doesn't fit his mental spreadsheet of what a Mercedes-Benz customer should look like. The assessment takes less than 3 seconds, but Omar feels each moment like a physical examination. "Buy a car," Bradley repeats, his voice dripping with the kind of skepticism usually reserved for children claiming they've finished their homework. "Do you have any idea what this Maybach costs? $350,000. That's probably more than your house is worth, if you even own one." He pulls out his phone, the latest iPhone in a Louis Vuitton case, holding it conspicuously at hip level as if ready to record at a moment's notice. "I've been in this business for 15 years and I can spot a tire kicker from across the parking lot. Don't start any trouble here. I've seen plenty of people like you come in, pretend to be interested, take some selfies for the gram, then damage the property when you're told you can't afford it." Omar takes a deep breath that fills his chest, his mother's voice echoing in his memory. "Never let them see you sweat, baby. Your dignity is your armor." He counts to 3 before responding, a technique learned through decades of similar encounters. "I have an appointment to view this car. The name is Omar Bailey. I spoke with someone yesterday, Vanessa, I believe." He glances toward the young woman, who looks like she wants to disappear into the marble floor. Bradley doesn't even pretend to check his tablet, the scheduling system that would confirm Omar's appointment remaining untouched on the reception desk. "Bailey?" He draws out the name like it tastes bad. "Sounds like an alias to me. What's your real name? Let me guess. Something harder to pronounce? Do you even have a valid driver's license? Or did you forget it at home like all the others who come in here trying to waste our time?" The accusation hangs in the air like smog, poisonous and suffocating. Vanessa's hands tremble as she clutches her portfolio, the leather creaking under her white-knuckled grip. She wants desperately to intervene, to tell Bradley about the appointment she personally booked yesterday afternoon, about how Mr. Bailey had asked intelligent questions about the Maybach's specifications and had mentioned needing the vehicle for corporate transportation. But Bradley's warnings from her first week echo in her mind like a mantra. "Don't ever contradict me in front of a customer. I don't care if I say the sky is green and the grass is blue. You smile and nod. Cross me once and you'll be job hunting before lunch. She can only watch helplessly and discreetly jot notes in her day planner, her pen moving in quick, nervous strokes that will later serve as evidence of this moment. Bradley's voice grows louder, intentionally attracting the attention of other customers browsing nearby. A young couple examining a C-class turns to stare, the woman grabbing her husband's arm. An older gentleman in a Tom Ford suit pauses his conversation with another salesperson to observe the developing scene. This showroom serves distinguished clientele, Bradley announces, playing to his growing audience. Fortune 500 executives, celebrities, people who've actually accomplished something with their lives. It's not a place for you to come in and take selfies for your social media, pretending you can afford something you clearly can't. I'm counting to 3, and then you either leave voluntarily or I call security to escort you out. 1. A middle-aged white couple near the SUV section glances over, the woman whispering something to her husband while shaking her head disapprovingly. 2. The security guard has moved closer, his hand resting on his radio. Omar stands his ground, his posture straight and dignified despite the public humiliation being orchestrated around him. Years of boardroom negotiations have taught him that sometimes the most powerful response is refusing to be moved. I'm a customer, he states with quiet authority that seems to infuriate Bradley even more. I'd like to speak with another manager. Surely there's someone else who can help me. His voice carries the kind of calm strength that comes from knowing exactly who you are, regardless of who others think you should be. I'm the highest-ranking manager here today, Bradley lies as smoothly as silk, knowing full well that James Rodriguez, the regional director, is in his corner office upstairs, probably reviewing quarterly sales figures. And I have the right to refuse service to anyone who's causing a disturbance. That's company policy. He crosses his arms, his gold cufflinks, miniature Mercedes emblems glinting under the showroom's crystal chandeliers, creating a physical barrier between Omar and the car he came to purchase. The message is clear. You don't belong here. Omar reaches into his pocket for his phone, moving slowly and deliberately to avoid any misinterpretation of his intentions. I'm going to call my sales representative. We confirmed this appointment yesterday. But before he can complete the motion, Bradley lunges forward with surprising speed and snatches the device from his hand, his manicured fingers closing around it like a trap. No filming in the showroom. This is private property, and I won't have you creating some viral video to smear our reputation. The sudden aggressive movement draws gasps from nearby customers, one woman actually dropping her designer purse in shock. Omar remains preternaturally calm despite the assault, his voice level and measured. I was just trying to call my dealer contact. That's my personal property you're holding. The irony of being accused of property crimes while having his own property stolen isn't lost on him. Dealer contact? Bradley scoffs, turning the phone over in his hands as if examining evidence at a crime scene. What, did you hire someone to play pretend? Pay them $50 to sound professional on the phone? I've seen this scam before. You people come in here with your fake stories and stolen credit cards, trying to take advantage of hard-working businesses. The words "you people" land like a slap across the face, their meaning crystal clear to everyone within earshot. Even some of the other customers shift uncomfortably at the blatant racism. Omar's mind, unbidden, travels back 20 years to a cold December evening in Cambridge. He was a junior at MIT, wearing his university sweatshirt, browsing in a high-end electronics store for a gift for his mother. The security guard had followed him from the moment he entered, staying just close enough to be obvious, just far enough to claim coincidence. When Omar had reached for a display laptop to check its specifications, the guard had grabbed his wrist, accused him of attempting to steal it. The manager had banned him from the store despite his protests. Despite showing his student ID that night, shivering with equal parts cold and humiliation outside the mall, He'd made a promise to himself. He would become so successful, so undeniable, that no one could ever dismiss him again. Yet here he stands, decades later, successful beyond his wildest dreams, and still facing the same prejudice. The memory strengthens his resolve rather than weakening it. Eronate, orvebrave son. Vanessa edges closer, her conscience warring with her fear, her need for this job battling against her sense of right and wrong. Mr. Sterling, perhaps we should check the system. I remember booking an appointment yesterday. Her voice trails off as Bradley whirls on her with the fury of a tornado. Miss Chen, I've told you before. Bradley's eyes narrow to slits, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper that somehow carries further than a shout. Call more interruption, and your resignation letter will be on my desk within the hour. You have a pregnant wife to support, don't you? Medical bills to pay? I'd think very carefully about your next move. The threat hangs heavy in the air like a storm cloud, and Vanessa's face pales to the color of parchment. She takes a step back, her eyes filling with unshed tears, her hands shaking so badly she nearly drops her portfolio. Omar sees the fear in Vanessa's eyes and feels a surge of protective anger that he struggles to contain. This isn't just about him anymore. Don't threaten your employees for doing their job. She's trying to help a customer. Isn't that what you pay her for? His words are measured but carry an edge of steel. Bradley's face reddens like a thermometer in boiling water. Now you're telling me how to manage my staff? That's rich, really rich. Vanessa, call security immediately. Report that we have a suspicious individual causing a disturbance and refusing to leave when asked. His voice has risen to nearly a shout, spittle flying from his lips. An elderly white customer passing by mutters to his wife, loud enough to be heard, "Why do they always have to make trouble? Can't they just shop where they belong?" The casual racism stings like alcohol on an open wound. But Omar keeps his expression neutral, refusing to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. "I'm not going anywhere until I'm treated like a customer," he states calmly, his voice carrying the kind of quiet authority that comes from years of leading board meetings and negotiating billion-dollar deals. "I have money to spend and an appointment to keep." Bradley reaches into his wallet with theatrical flair and pulls out a $20 bill, waving it mockingly like a matador's cape. "Here, this should cover your taxi fare home. Or maybe bus fare. Do you even know how to use Uber? Consider it charity. My good deed for the day. Don't embarrass yourself any further." The condescension drips from every word like poison honey, designed to humiliate and demean. Several customers are now openly recording the interaction on their phones, sensing that something significant is happening. Omar doesn't reach for the money, his dignity intact despite the assault on his character. The $20 bill flutters to the ground between them, ignored. The confrontation has drawn a substantial crowd now, creating a semicircle of spectators around the gleaming Maybach. Suddenly, Bradley's eyes light up with malicious inspiration as he notices Omar glancing toward the VIP office area, where several high-profile clients are visible through glass walls, signing contracts and sipping champagne. "Stop right there," Bradley shouts, his voice cracking with false alarm like a bad actor in a community theater production. "Everyone saw that. You just took a photo of our VIP room. That's corporate espionage." The accusation is so unexpected, so absurd, that for a moment everyone freezes in confusion. "But I didn't take any photos," Omar protests, holding up both empty hands to show his innocence, his phone still in Bradley's possession. "You have my phone. How could I take a picture?" The logic is unassailable. But Bradley is beyond reason, caught up in his own performance. "I saw you clearly," Bradley points with a shaking finger, his face contorted with manufactured outrage. "You had another phone, a hidden one, security, emergency, code red." His voice carries across the entire showroom, causing heads to turn throughout the building and conversations to stop mid-sentence. Even customers in the service bay can hear the commotion. Two security guards rush over, their hands on their radios, their faces showing a mixture of concern and confusion. They're young men, probably making $15 an hour, suddenly thrust into a situation far beyond their pay grade. Bradley gestures wildly, his arms windmilling like a cartoon character. He photographed confidential client information. Senator Morrison is in there signing contracts for the government fleet. This is a matter of national security. The lie rolls off his tongue with the ease of someone who's become comfortable with deception. You took my phone away 5 minutes ago, Omar reminds him, his voice steady despite the growing crowd of onlookers. Everyone here saw you take it from my hand. The logic is undeniable, but Bradley is constructing his own reality now, one where facts are inconvenient obstacles to be bulldozed. Bradley picked up the dropped phone from where it fell earlier, handling it like a prosecutor presenting evidence to a jury. Here, evidence. Check what he captured. I bet there are dozens of photos of our VIP clients, their credit applications, their personal information. He waves the device above his head like a trophy, playing to his audience with the skill of a seasoned performer. That's my property, you have no right to search it. Omar tries to retrieve his phone, but Bradley dances backward with surprising agility for a man his size. Don't touch the evidence, Bradley shouts, loud enough to be heard in the parking lot. Everyone see that? He's trying to destroy proof of his crime, classic criminal behavior. The security guards look increasingly uncomfortable, caught between their training to de-escalate and their manager's demands for action. Another customer, a woman in her 30s wearing medical scrubs, probably just off a shift at the nearby hospital, speaks up tentatively. Excuse me, but I've been here the whole time. I didn't see him take any pictures. He's just been trying to look at the car. Her voice is small but clear in the tense atmosphere. A small island of sanity in a sea of madness. You didn't see? Bradley rounds on her aggressively, his face flushed with anger. Or are you part of this conspiracy? Are you the lookout? This is clearly an organized attempt to steal VIP information for blackmail. I've seen this before. They work in teams. His accusations grow wilder by the second, spinning a conspiracy theory from thin air. Bradley fumbles with his own phone, dialing dramatically with shaking fingers. Police? This is Bradley Sterling at Mercedes-Benz downtown. We have an intruder attempting to steal classified information about Senator Morrison, possible industrial espionage. He may be armed and dangerous. The lies compound upon each other like interest on a predatory loan. The security guards look at each other uncertainly, their training having never covered a situation quite like this. Omar maintains his composure even as the situation spirals further into absurdity. You're making false accusations. I demand to see the security footage. It will show I never took any photos. His reasonable request only seems to enrage Bradley further, like throwing water on a grease fire. Security footage. Bradley laughs maniacally, the sound sharp and brittle. How incredibly convenient. That particular angle just happens to have a blind spot. You knew that, didn't you? You studied our camera placement. This was all planned. The paranoia in his voice is palpable, creating its own twisted logic, where every piece of contradictory evidence becomes proof of a deeper conspiracy. Vanessa, trembling like a leaf in a storm, tries once more, her voice barely above a whisper. Mr. Sterling, I was standing right here the entire time. I didn't see him take any photos. He was just looking at the car like any customer would. Her words are careful, measured, trying to inject reason without triggering Bradley's wrath. Silence! Bradley roars with the fury of a dictator challenged by a peasant. Or are you part of this gang? Have you been feeding them information? I'll report you to the FBI as part of an organized information theft ring. They'll investigate your whole family. The threat is so outlandish that several customers exchange bewildered glances, some shaking their heads in disbelief. The distant wail of sirens grows louder, and within minutes, 2 police cruisers pull up outside, their lights painting red and blue patterns across the showroom's glass walls. The officers enter with hands on their weapons, immediately assessing the scene. A crowd of well-dressed customers, some recording on phones, a black man standing calmly by a luxury car, and a red-faced white man in an expensive suit gesticulating wildly. Bradley rushes to meet them at the door like an eager puppy, nearly tripping over his own feet in his haste. "Officers! Thank God you're here! The spy is over there. He photographed classified documents about Senator Morrison. This is a matter of national security. The FBI should be involved." His words tumble over each other in a frantic rush. The senior officer, a veteran with gray at his temples and the weathered face of someone who's seen too much, raises an eyebrow skeptically. His younger partner looks equally unconvinced. "A spy? Senator Morrison?" The senior officer's tone suggests he's dealt with his share of exaggerated reports from paranoid citizens. "Sir, please, calm down and explain exactly what happened." "Yes, a spy," Bradley insists, his voice rising to near hysteria, sweat beading on his forehead despite the showroom's climate control. "Morrison is purchasing vehicles for the government fleet, top secret information, and this man," he points dramatically at Omar like an actor in a melodrama, "infiltrated our showroom to steal it. He's probably working for foreign competitors, or terrorists." The accusations grow more outlandish with each breath. "I'm a customer," Omar states clearly, addressing the officers directly with the calm of someone who's navigated hostile boardrooms and congressional hearings. "My name is Omar Bailey. I had an appointment to view this vehicle. This gentleman took my phone and is now making false accusations because he doesn't believe I can afford to shop here. His summary is clinical, factual, devoid of the emotion that Bradley is drowning in. "It's an alias," Bradley interrupts frantically, waving his arms like a windmill. "Check his phone. The evidence is all there. Photos of our VIP clients, their personal information, credit card numbers. Be careful, there might be self-destruct software. This is professional espionage, like in the movies." The officers exchange glances that speak volumes about their assessment of the situation. The senior officer takes the phone with professional calm and begins scrolling through it, his face impassive. Bradley hovers anxiously, practically vibrating with nervous energy. "Check the hidden folders. They hide things in calculator apps. I saw it on 60 Minutes. His conspiracy theories spiral further from reality with each passing moment. After a thorough examination, the officer looks up with the expression of someone whose patience is wearing thin. There are no photos taken today on this device, no photos of any documents, VIP rooms, or anything else related to this business. His voice is flat, professional, leaving no room for argument. "He deleted them!" Bradley refuses to accept defeat, his worldview crumbling but his denial holding strong. Or he used a hidden app, or sent them to the cloud. "I work with VIP clients. I know how industrial spies operate. They're sophisticated. They have training." His claims grow more desperate with each passing second, grasping at straws that don't exist. Omar shakes his head slowly, a lifetime of similar experiences reflected in his eyes. "Officers, this is serious defamation. I need to call my lawyer. This man has stolen my property, assaulted me, and is now making false accusations that could damage my reputation." The mention of legal representation seems to push Bradley over the edge into complete panic. "Lawyer?" Bradley laughs wildly, the sound bouncing off the showroom walls like a ricocheting bullet. "To cover your tracks? To intimidate witnesses? No. Officers, detain him immediately, before he can coordinate with his accomplices. This is bigger than just one man." He gestures frantically at the police, trying to direct them like a conductor with an unruly orchestra. At that moment, as if summoned by the chaos, Senator Morrison himself emerges from the VIP room, his silver hair perfectly styled, his navy suit impeccable. He's drawn by the commotion that's impossible to ignore, even through the soundproofed glass. What in heaven's name is all this noise about? His authoritative voice cuts through the chaos like a sword through silk. I'm trying to conduct business here. Bradley rushes to him like a bodyguard protecting a dignitary from assassination. Senator, stay back, get to safety. This man tried to steal your information. He's a spy, maybe an assassin. He positions himself dramatically between Morrison and Omar, arms spread wide as if to shield the senator from bullets. Morrison looks at Omar with the practiced assessment of a career politician, his brow furrowed in concentration. I don't believe we've met, sir. His statement is simple, factual, carrying no judgment. There, Bradley exclaims triumphantly, pointing at Omar like a prosecutor who's just gotten a confession. You see? A complete stranger, obviously sent by our competitors, or foreign agents. Senator, your security could be compromised. His conspiracy theory grows more elaborate by the second, weaving a web of paranoia from thin air. Omar addresses Morrison directly, his voice calm and professional despite the circus surrounding him. Senator Morrison, I'm Omar Bailey. We met at the Boston Technology Conference last month. You attended my keynote on cybersecurity infrastructure. He provides specific, verifiable information, watching as recognition slowly dawns. Morrison's eyes narrow thoughtfully, searching his memory. Bailey. Bailey. That name does sound familiar. His hesitation opens a crack in Bradley's narrative, doubt creeping in like water through a dam. Don't believe him, Bradley interjects frantically, sweat now visibly staining his expensive shirt. He's using psychological manipulation. He's probably been stalking you. These people study their targets. The accusations grow wilder, more desperate, the ravings of a man watching his constructed reality crumble. The police officer requests identification with professional courtesy. Mr. Bailey, may I see your ID, please? His tone is respectful but firm, following procedure despite the chaos. As Omar reaches slowly for his wallet, Bradley shouts another warning that makes everyone in the showroom freeze. Careful! He might be armed. These people often carry weapons. I saw something in his waistband. The suggestion of violence escalates the tension dramatically, exponentially. The officers' hands move instinctively to their weapons, the situation suddenly potentially lethal. Omar slowly raises his hands, his movements deliberate and unthreatening. I'm unarmed. I'm just getting my driver's license from my wallet. May I proceed? He waits for permission, understanding the deadly serious turn the situation has taken. Slowly, the senior officer instructs, his hand resting on his weapon but not drawing it. The tension in the showroom is thick enough to cut, everyone holding their breath. Omar produces his license with careful movements, handing it to the officer. The address listed makes the officer's eyebrows rise. Beacon Hill, one of Boston's most exclusive neighborhoods, where homes start at several $1 million. The officer reads it aloud, his tone shifting slightly. Beacon Hill. What do you do for work, Mr. Bailey? I'm the CEO of a technology company. Omar replies simply, without embellishment. The truth needs no decoration. Again with the lies! Bradley practically screams, his voice cracking like a teenager's. He's impersonating a CEO to get close to VIPs. This is textbook international fraud. Check the FBI database. He's probably on a watch list. His voice has reached a pitch that makes several people wince. Bradley turns to Morrison with the urgency of someone warning about an incoming missile. Senator, you should review all your information immediately. Cancel your credit cards, change your passwords, alert your security detail. It might already be compromised. He's painting a picture of imminent disaster, a catastrophe that exists only in his prejudiced imagination. Morrison looks genuinely concerned now, the seed of doubt planted by Bradley's performance. The information about the new fleet, the routing details. He doesn't finish the sentence. but the implication hangs in the air like smoke. Exactly. Bradley seizes on the opening like a drowning man grabbing a life preserver. If that gets out, your security could be at risk. Foreign agents could track your movements. I insist this man be arrested immediately. For the senator's safety, for national security. He's practically frothing at the mouth, spittle flying with each emphatic word. Vanessa, finding courage she didn't know she possessed, tries one last time to inject sanity into the situation. But I didn't see him do anything wrong. He's just been standing here trying to buy a car like any other customer. Her voice is stronger now, driven by moral courage that overcomes her fear of unemployment. Bradley whirls on her with vicious fury that makes everyone step back. You're fired. Clear out your desk immediately. Security, escort Ms. Chen from the premises and make sure she doesn't take any company property. The cruelty of the dismissal shocks even the jaded onlookers, several people gasping at the sudden escalation. No, Omar speaks forcefully, his CEO voice emerging for the first time. She's just telling the truth. You can't fire someone for being honest. He won't stand by while an innocent person suffers for showing integrity. The truth? Bradley turns back to the police, his performance reaching its crescendo. You see? He's defending his accomplice. This is clearly an organized crime ring. They probably have people planted in businesses all over the city. His paranoia has reached fever pitch, creating conspiracies within conspiracies. The officers exchange meaningful glances, clearly trying to assess the situation beyond Bradley's hysteria. One of them speaks carefully, aware of the delicate nature of the situation. We may need to take Mr. Bailey in for questioning, just to sort this all out. The prospect of arrest becomes real, immediate, threatening. For what crime? Omar asks pointedly, his voice carrying the weight of history. Shopping while black? Existing in a space where someone thinks I don't belong? The directness of the question makes several people visibly uncomfortable, forcing them to confront the reality of what's happening. For threatening national security? Bradley shouts, playing his role to the hilt. Industrial espionage? Endangering a United States senator? Conspiracy to commit fraud? He throws out accusations like confetti at a parade, hoping something will stick. The crowd has grown even larger, with many people recording on their phones, live streaming the incident to social media. The Mercedes-Benz logo in the background of every shot will soon be seen by millions. Bradley doesn't discourage them. Instead, he plays to the cameras like a reality TV star. Record everything, people need to see what we're dealing with. The lengths these criminals will go to. He's reveling in the attention, drunk on his own power trip, at the absolute height of the chaos, with tensions crackling through the showroom like electricity before a lightning strike. Omar reaches into his pocket with deliberate calm. The movement draws every eye, some people stepping back as if expecting violence. But what he produces isn't a weapon. It's a key fob, the distinctive electronic key of a Mercedes-Benz, with the three-pointed star prominently displayed on its surface. The key is black carbon fiber with subtle gold accents, clearly a premium version not available to ordinary customers. Bradley notices the movement and laughs derisively, the sound sharp and mocking. A fake key now? Do you think we're stupid? You can buy those replicas online for $20. I've seen them on eBay. This is just getting pathetic. Without a word, without even looking at Bradley, Omar presses a button on the fob. The effect is immediate and dramatic. The Maybach they've been standing beside responds with a cheerful beep, its lights flashing in recognition like a loyal pet greeting its master. But what happens next transforms the entire atmosphere of the showroom from chaos to stunned silence. The dashboard inside the vehicle suddenly illuminates like a Christmas tree, every screen and display coming to life with vivid brilliance. The massive central display screen, visible through the windshield, shows text in large, unmistakable letters that seem to burn themselves into the retinas of everyone watching. Welcome, Mr. Omar Bailey, the CEO, Tech Vision Global. VIP access authorized. The silence that follows is so complete that the gentle hum of the Maybach's activated systems sounds like a roar. Bradley's mouth falls open, no sound emerging, his face draining of color so rapidly that he looks as if he might faint. His eyes bulge as he stares at the dashboard display, unable to process what he's seeing. The screen continues its display, showing the Tech Vision Global logo, a stylized T surrounded by interconnected nodes that anyone who's used a computer in the last decade would recognize instantly. Below it, a professional photograph of Omar appears, taken at the recent Global Technology Summit where he stood beside world leaders and industry titans. In the photo, he's wearing a custom Tom Ford suit, shaking hands with the President of the United States. That's impossible, Bradley whispers, his voice barely audible, all his bluster evaporating like morning dew under a harsh sun. His hands shake visibly as he stares at the dashboard display, his entire world view crumbling in real time. Senator Morrison steps closer to the vehicle, his eyes widening with recognition and dawning horror at the situation. Tech Vision Global? The company that provides cybersecurity for the Pentagon? The one that just landed the largest defense contract in history? His voice carries a new note, respect mixed with embarrassment at his earlier failure to recognize Omar. At that precise moment, as if choreographed by fate itself, James Rodriguez, the regional director, bursts through his office door and practically flies down the stairs, taking them two at a time. His face is flushed with panic, his usually perfect hair disheveled, his tie askew. He's clearly been watching the situation unfold on the security monitors, paralyzed by disbelief, until the dashboard revelation shocked him into action. What in God's name is happening in my... Omar? Omar. The color drains from his face as he takes in the scene. Police officers with hands near weapons, a crowd of recording customers, and Omar Bailey, standing calmly in the center of it all like the eye of a hurricane. Hello, James, Omar says quietly, his voice carrying clearly in the stunned silence. I'm being accused of industrial espionage, apparently. Your manager here seems to think I'm a spy. The understatement would be funny if the situation weren't so serious, so pregnant with implications. Espionage? James looks as if he's about to have a cardiac event, his hand clutching his chest. Bradley, have you completely lost your mind? Do you have any idea who this is? His voice rises with each word, panic evident in every syllable. Bradley's denial reflex kicks in, even as reality crashes down around him like a demolished building. No, he can't be. He was dressed. He didn't look. The system must be malfunctioning. The words trail off pathetically, each excuse weaker than the last. James points at the still glowing dashboard with a trembling finger, his entire arm shaking. Can't you see? The system recognized him. Do you have any idea what level of access that requires? Only 50 people in the entire world have that level of VIP authorization with Mercedes. Benz Global! His voice cracks with stress, understanding the magnitude of the disaster unfolding. Morrison's expression has completely transformed, embarrassment and recognition warring on his face. Omar Bailey, CEO of Tech Vision. Of course. Your company just signed the $2 billion defense contract. We met at the conference. You gave that brilliant presentation on quantum encryption. The revelation ripples through the crowd like a shockwave, people gasping and murmuring, $2 billion? One of the police officers whistles low, suddenly seeing the situation in an entirely different light. The magnitude of the error is becoming clear to everyone present. And this man, James points at Bradley with barely controlled fury, his finger shaking with rage. Just accused one of America's most important defense contractors of being a criminal. Do you understand what you've done, Bradley? Do you have any comprehension of the magnitude of your stupidity? The weight of the mistake is crushing, visible in every line of James's face. Omar presses another button on the key fob, his movements calm and deliberate. The dashboard display changes, showing additional information that makes James's knees visibly buckle. Fleet order: 50 S-Class vehicles for TAC Vision Global, status, pending confirmation. Total value, $20 million, 0 cents. The number seems to hang in the air, each zero a nail in the coffin of Bradley's career. 50 vehicles? James's phone begins ringing incessantly, a symphony of disaster. He glances at it with growing horror, each incoming call representing another level of corporate catastrophe. That's Munich calling, and Detroit, and, oh God, that's the CEO's personal line, and the chairman of the board, and, is that a German number? Oh Christ, that's Dieter Zetsche himself. His hands shake so badly he can barely decline the calls, knowing each one brings more bad news, more fury from higher up the corporate chain. Bradley collapses to his knees, the weight of his mistake finally crushing through his prejudice and pride. His expensive suit pants will be ruined on the showroom floor, but that's the least of his problems now. I didn't know. I couldn't have known. The words are pathetic, inadequate, a lifetime of prejudice distilled into a moment of devastating clarity. You didn't know what? Omar asks, his voice steady but pointed, each word carefully chosen for maximum impact. That I was a CEO? Or that you should treat every human being with basic respect regardless of what they're wearing? The question cuts to the heart of the matter, exposing the rot at the core of Bradley's worldview. Morrison addresses the police officers with newfound urgency, his senator's voice carrying authority. Officers, this is a grave situation. Falsely accusing a defense contractor of espionage, making false reports, this goes beyond simple defamation. He doesn't need to finish the sentence. The implications are clear to everyone. Could be considered interference with national security. The senior officer completes the thought, his expression grave as he reassesses the entire situation. That's federal jurisdiction. The FBI might need to be involved. The stakes have escalated from a simple disturbance call to a potential federal case. Vanessa stands in stunned silence, tears streaming down her face as she watches justice unfold in real time. Her small act of integrity, her refusal to be completely silent, has been vindicated in the most dramatic way possible. She never imagined when she woke up this morning that she'd witness something like this, a moment that will likely define the rest of her life. Bradley remains on his knees, his entire world crumbling around him like a house of cards in a hurricane. His Armani suit, which he wore like armor this morning, now feels like a costume, a disguise that's been ripped away. Mr. Bailey, please, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. If I had known who you were. His voice breaks with desperate emotion, the words tumbling over each other in his panic. Didn't realize? Omar puts the key fob away with deliberate calm, each movement measured and purposeful. The problem isn't what you didn't realize. The problem is that you judged me based on my appearance rather than my character. You didn't see a potential customer, you saw a stereotype. The truth of the statement resonates throughout the showroom, forcing everyone present to examine their own biases. Morrison turns to James with stern authority, his political instincts fully engaged. Mr. Rodriguez, I'll need to report this incident to the Defense Appropriations Committee. Mercedes-Benz has a $500 million contract with the federal government for our vehicle fleet, correct? The number hangs in the air like a sword of Damocles. $500 million? James repeats weakly, his face now the color of old parchment. And we could lose it all because of this incident. He can't bring himself to say what it really is. Racial profiling so blatant it might cost his company hundreds of millions in government contracts. Because of racial profiling, Omar completes the thought with surgical precision, because of a system that allows people like Bradley to not just survive but thrive while perpetuating discrimination, how many other customers has he driven away? How many other sales have you lost because of this attitude? His words are calm but devastating in their accuracy. Each question another blow to the company's reputation. Bradley attempts to crawl closer, his dignity completely abandoned. Designer suit be damned. Please, give me another chance. I have a wife and children, a mortgage, private school tuitions. I'll lose everything. The plea is pathetic, desperate. A man watching his entire life crumble in real time. So does Vanessa, Omar reminds him coldly, gesturing to the young woman who stood up for what was right. But you were ready to destroy her livelihood because she dared to speak the truth. You threatened her with homelessness because she tried to treat me like a human being. The hypocrisy is laid bare for all to see, as ugly as it is undeniable. Omar turns to Vanessa with a warm smile that transforms his face, showing the kindness that success hasn't erased. Ms. Chen, TechVision Global is looking for a director of corporate relations. Starting salary is $150,000 per year, full benefits, stock options, and a signing bonus. Would you be interested? The offer is like a lifeline thrown to a drowning person, hope materializing from despair. Vanessa can barely speak through her tears, her voice choked with emotion. Are you serious? But I'm just a sales associate. I don't have the experience. The reversal of fortune is almost too much to process. From fired to hired in a matter of minutes. You have something more valuable than experience, Omar confirms with genuine warmth. You have integrity. You showed courage when it would have been easier, safer, to stay silent. That's exactly the kind of character we need at TechVision. His sincerity is evident, cutting through the chaos with simple truth. Bradley's desperation reaches new depths, all pretense of dignity abandoned. I'll lose everything. My reputation, my career, 20 years in the industry. The self-pity is almost unbearable to witness. A man facing the consequences of his own actions. You lost your humanity long before today, a customer from the crowd calls out, a middle-aged black woman who's been recording everything. I've been coming here for years, and you've never once acknowledged me, always had another salesperson help me. Now I know why. I recorded everything today, including when you assaulted him by throwing his phone to the ground. The evidence of Bradley's pattern of behavior is overwhelming. And the false accusations, another customer adds, an Asian man in a tech company hoodie. Calling the police with false reports is a crime itself. My live stream already has 50,000 viewers. The whole world is watching Mercedes-Benz right now. The social media implications hit James like a physical blow. James's phone hasn't stopped ringing, each call more urgent than the last. That's Munich again. The board of directors. The head of North American operations. Oh God, that's the crisis management team. Omar, I'm begging you, please don't cancel the order. We'll do anything. His professional composure has completely evaporated, replaced by naked panic. Omar shakes his head slowly, his decision firm. The 50 vehicles will be going to BMW instead. They've always treated me with respect, even when I showed up in jeans. And I'll be recommending that our 500 partner companies reconsider their Mercedes-Benz fleets. The business implications are staggering, potentially billions in lost revenue. No! James looks physically ill, swaying on his feet. That's not just our order. If TechVision switches, others will follow. This could cost us billions in contracts. The number is almost incomprehensible, the scale of the disaster growing by the minute. The police officer addresses Omar professionally, his entire demeanor changed by the revelation of his identity. "Sir, would you like to press charges? False imprisonment, defamation, filing a false police report, assault? The list is substantial. The potential criminal charges stack up like floors in a skyscraper." "Press charges?" Omar considers for a moment, then looks directly at Bradley, who's still on his knees like a penitent seeking absolution. "No. But I hope this serves as a lesson for everyone here. The problem isn't just one prejudiced manager. It's a system that enables and rewards that prejudice." His magnanimity is remarkable given the circumstances, but his point is clear. The showroom falls into a contemplative silence as Omar surveys the scene. The dashboard of the Maybach has dimmed but still glows softly, a technological beacon that revealed the truth when human judgment failed so catastrophically. The contrast is stark, a machine programmed to recognize value versus a human blinded by prejudice. "That car recognized me as a CEO," Omar says thoughtfully, his voice carrying the weight of hard-won wisdom. "Its sensors don't see color, don't judge based on clothing, don't make assumptions based on appearance. But Bradley couldn't recognize me as a human being deserving of basic respect. What does it say about us when our machines are more equitable than we are?" He addresses the crowd that has gathered, his voice carrying the authority of someone who's fought these battles for decades. "Technology can be programmed to see past superficial differences. It's our hearts and minds that need to learn the same lesson. We're building artificial intelligence that can recognize faces, predict behavior, make decisions, but we still can't seem to recognize each other's humanity." The simple truth resonates throughout the space, forcing introspection. Morrison nods gravely, his political mind already working through the implications. "You're absolutely right. If that dashboard hadn't lit up, if you were just an ordinary citizen without the protection of wealth and position, would we accept this treatment as normal? How many people face this every day without recourse?" The question challenges everyone to examine their own biases and complicity. Omar turns to James one final time, his terms clear and non-negotiable. "Mercedes-Benz has 48 hours to present a comprehensive reform plan. Not just firing one person, but changing the entire culture that allowed this to happen. Unconscious bias training for all employees, diverse hiring practices, mystery shoppers to test for discrimination. Real change, not just PR statements." His demands are specific, actionable, designed to create lasting change rather than temporary fixes. "We'll do everything necessary," James promises desperately, sweat staining his expensive shirt. "Complete retraining, new policies, whatever it takes. I'll personally oversee the implementation. This will never happen again." The sincerity is born of desperation, but no less real for. Omar faces Bradley one last time, his expression mixing disappointment with a teacher's patience. "You have two choices from here. You can learn from this experience and grow, examining why you saw threat where there was none, why you assumed criminality based on appearance. Or you can remain trapped in your prejudice and hatred, blaming everyone but yourself for the consequences of your actions. The dashboard lit up to identify me, but you need to illuminate your own heart to recognize the value in every person who walks through those doors. The wisdom is profound in its simplicity, offering redemption even in judgment." Vanessa finally finds her voice fully, speaking with newfound confidence. "Thank you, Mr. Bailey, not just for the job offer, but for showing me that silence in the face of injustice is complicity. I've watched this happen before, to other customers, and I always told myself it wasn't my place to speak up, never again." Her transformation is complete, from silent witness to active advocate. Jasmine smiles warmly at her courage. Real power doesn't come from titles or technology or the ability to buy 50 luxury cars. It comes from the courage to stand up for what's right, even when it costs you. You showed that courage today. That's why you'll succeed at Tech Vision. Because you understand that principle. Before leaving, he offers one final thought that seems to settle over the showroom like a benediction. That dashboard lit up because of sophisticated technology, sensors and databases and algorithms. But our consciences must light up on their own. No external validation should be required for us to treat each other with dignity. The saddest part of today isn't what Bradley did. It's that he needed to see my net worth before he could see my worth as a human being. The Maybach stands silent now, its dashboard dark again, but its message delivered with devastating clarity. The car itself is worth $350,000, but the lesson learned today is priceless. As Omar walks toward the door, his footsteps echo in the silent showroom. Each step a reminder that dignity can't be bought or sold. It can only be recognized or denied. Today, a dashboard lighting up saved Omar Bailey from injustice. But millions of people don't have a magical key fob to reveal their worth. They don't have displays showing CEO or CERP or human being deserving of respect. They just have their inherent dignity. Something Bradley couldn't see until it was spelled out in LED lights on a luxury car's display. How many times have we all been, Bradley, making assumptions based on appearance? How many times have we been the silent witnesses, watching injustice unfold and telling ourselves it's not our problem? This story isn't about smart technology or CEO privilege. It's about the Vanesses of the world. Ordinary people who choose to speak up despite the risk. It's about the countless individuals who face prejudice every day without the protection of prestigious titles or government contracts. It's about you, reading this, and the choice you face the next time you witness discrimination. Next time you see discrimination, don't wait for a dashboard to light up. Illuminate your own conscience instead. You don't need to be a CEO to make a difference. You don't need a key fob that unlocks respect. You just need to be human. Human enough to see beyond appearances, brave enough to speak for justice, wise enough to know that someone's worth isn't determined by their clothes or their car or their bank account. Bradley needed a glowing dashboard to recognize Omar's worth. But humanity's dashboard must light up with compassion, not corporate titles. We've programmed machines to be unbiased. Now we need to reprogram ourselves. The question is your moral dashboard ready to illuminate? Or will you wait for technology to teach you what your heart should already know? The next time someone is judged by their appearance rather than their character, will you be the Bradley who discriminates, the bystander who stays silent, or the Vanessa who speaks truth despite the cost? Your dashboard is within you, powered not by batteries or Bluetooth, but by conscience and courage. The only question that matters is this: will you let it light up?